Hey, what's going on, guys? Gonna give it a few minutes and then we will go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and put the countdown on. What's going on, Brian? Good to see you here. We're going to get the countdown going, guys, and then we will get this stream started. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Let's see, so Brian, Nathan, Mika, Cyrus, Ashish, Zagzoos, Jack, Core Martins, Christian, Cheap, Ashish, Alexander, John, Dillip, a lot of good people in here. Chud Jack, that one Mexican 402, Matthew. Awesome, guys. A lot of good people in here. Yes, Brian, Singapore is good. Singapore is good. So I will say it's a lot less active than it was last year. And so there's not as many people here, but it's still good. I mean, the events are still active. I had a good time yesterday. Today, I'm actually going to the BloFin event. So I'll be there. A lot of good people will be there. And then on Saturday, I'm going to go to the Coinbase event for F1. So, but I'm trying to find some alpha for you guys. So I went to Token yesterday. Met a lot of good people. Whoops. Okay. Met a lot of good people. So we will, sorry guys, didn't mean for that to, yeah, so I met a lot of good people, so it should be good. Looking forward to it 100%. And yeah, I think that it's going to be good. I think that the next few days are going to be good, and I'll probably be able to find some good alpha for you guys. So just looking at a few comments real quick. I'm on my laptop, so I got to do this single screen. That's why you guys are seeing a screen that you probably wouldn't normally see. So just want to make sure let's see, love from Ukraine, awesome guys. Love from Pakistan, Algeria, India, awesome. A lot of good people. Turkey, love all those countries, guys. Good stuff. I still got to visit half of those. Let's see. Sweet. All right. Hey, no problem, Ashish says, thanks for the alpha token, Aster. Anytime. Quantix says BTC, soon, all-time high, yes. When is the next flush? Probably towards the mid-October. But let's see. Veer says, I was not liquid at the time when the Ethereum long was posted. I should now Forex long because TP hasn't hit yet. No, I wouldn't long ETH probably until 4280 to 4300 if it comes back down. So hopefully you guys enjoying the ETH long. If any of you guys are in the Ethereum long, go ahead and leave a fire emoji. I want to know who is all in there because we did make some good gains on that so far. So great to see on there. A lot of good people in here, guys. But with that, I will go ahead and start the stream, and then I will look at the comments shortly after. So awesome day in the market, guys. Awesome past couple days. Hopefully you guys have been loving the market. And again, a lot of good price appreciation on a lot of tokens. Bitcoin nearly reached 120K. Ethereum's reached 4,400. Solana's reached 223. Hyperliquid's almost reached $50 a day again. So guys, a lot of good price action. Again, if any of you guys are in any of those trades, definitely let me know. But love to see whenever people are in those trades. Awesome, guys. Awesome. So glad you guys are in that ETH trade. But Looking at the 24-hour liquidations, we have 587 million of liquidations, with majority of those being short. Remember what I talked about. When you have liquidations near $1 billion, that's when you can expect to be a local top or local bottom. In this case, if we get shorts near $1 billion of liquidations, then that would mark a local top for us, and we would be expecting a pullback. So just keep that in mind, guys, is a pullback still could come sooner rather than later. So you have to be able to, keep that in mind, especially with how much everything has already risen. But nonetheless, I'm still looking at the data, and there's still higher to go. Now, looking at the 24-hour liquidation heat map. So let me actually refresh this and see if any more liquidations have shown up near the top, because I know there's been a lot of longs recently, which makes me believe we could potentially have a little pullback down to 116 to 117K. But you can see there's some liquidations near 120K, but at the very least, I'm expecting something down to 116, 117 to reset before higher. Now, if we look at the 1 week, there isn't many liquidations above where we're at right now. Majority are still lower, okay? So it does still beg the question, okay, do we still flush a lot lower? Do we still reset a lot of these late longs? That's the big question, right? And so that's something I'm watching right now to see if we are going to have a late flush for these overconfident longs before higher. But at the very least, if you're going to have longs on Bitcoin, I would place them near 116K. That's the level I'd be looking at. Now, also, guys, if you guys aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, definitely do so. Post a lot of good content for you guys. Also, some of the upcoming events, which is what I was also going to talk about, but I can talk about it now, is we did have the FTX refunds recently, right? Those are getting passed out. And then also we had the government shutdown that just happened yesterday. And so what does that mean for us? Well, the government shutdown basically just means that a lot of federal workers aren't getting paid. They're not going to release any of the economic data. So you're going to have a hard time determining, the likelihood of a Fed, having rate cuts. But I will say right now, we do have a 99% chance that the Fed's going to cut rates. And I did post that in my latest market update, if you guys saw. So a lot of people are front-running that. And then I do believe a lot of people did front-run the government shutdown, meaning we did have a decline September 30th. And so people knew that the government was going to shut down. So that's why we had a little bounce on October 1st. And so, again, it's all game theory, guys. What do you expect the next person to do? And that's the biggest question. And then here you can see I had my chart that I drew for Bitcoin, where I had a lot of liquidity and a lot of resistance near 114K. What happened when we broke it? Well, we just went much, much higher up to 120K. So that's why you guys got to be looking at these major resistance levels. And I already said here, I said the government shutdown's already being priced in. If when it happens, we may see another dip, but it won't last. Guys, this is exactly what happens. So if you guys are keeping an eye on this, then this should not be a surprise to anyone. And so hopefully you guys did take that advice and we continued higher from there. So again, always appreciate you guys following me on X. But with that said, let's go ahead and look at a few news items. So Watch Your Guru is a guy that I like to follow. Very, very good guy. And he posts a lot of good data. So let's look at the news over the past week, because there has been quite a lot. So we had BlackRock filing for the Bitcoin Premium Income ETF. So remember, BlackRock has already filed for the Ethereum Staking ETF, which I believe will get approved in Q4, which will be extremely bullish for Ethereum. Then also you have the Bitcoin Premium ETF. So they're just increasing access to a lot of these investors, guys. So this is what you want to see. More adoption in crypto, more money, more capital flowing into the space. Love to see that. Also, you have Kraken raising $500 million at a $15 billion valuation. Let me know if any of you guys got into that raise. That should be a good return there. Then also you have Eric Trump believing Bitcoin will surpass $1 million. Now, you know who else believes Bitcoin will surpass $1 million besides Michael Saylor is Pavel Durov, is the Telegram CEO, Telegram founder. He believes Bitcoin will reach $1 million. Eric Trump believes Bitcoin will reach $1 million. Guys, it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin reaches $1 million at this point. You know what I mean? And so now it's just a waiting game, and it's just buying on the dips. And then as long as the capital keeps flowing in, which I do think it will, and I'll tell you guys why, but as long as capital keeps flowing in, Bitcoin is just going to continue higher from here. Now, also something interesting was Trump posting a meme of himself firing Federal Chair Jerome Powell. Whether this was satire, whether this was, legitimate, it's, it's interesting to see, because Trump has always wanted to fire Powell ever since Powell was delaying the interest rate cuts. But in my opinion, I think if he does fire Powell, it wouldn't be the most bullish case right now. I think that people have grown accustomed to how Powell is cutting rates. And I think now that Powell is finally, I don't say caved in, but now finally started cutting rates, that people are more apt to leaving him in and saying, okay, We know that you cut rates a little late, but we're not going to punish you for it as long as you keep cutting the rates, right? That's the biggest thing I would say. As long as Powell keeps cutting rates, there shouldn't be any further disagreements. But I do know that Trump wants Powell to cut rates more than just 25 basis points. And so we'll see if it ends up being a 50 or 75. But right now, with the way the data is looking, it looks like 25 basis points is a 99% certainty. And also you have Michael Saylor continuously buying more Bitcoin, up 22 million. And then you had also Switzerland proposing investing in U.S. gold refining industry to secure lower tariffs. So again, that'll be something else as well, with the U.S. getting more money from tariffs. And then Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, is continuing to advocate for easier regulations. And he actually says that he's never been more bullish about clear rules for crypto. So this is what it means, guys, to have a pro-crypto legislation and pro-crypto government, because when you have that, companies can operate more freely. They can operate without any uncertainty, and that's what you want to see when you want to see a thriving field. And crypto is continuing to thrive. That's why you're seeing more investments, because now companies are feeling more confident in investing in it. And also you have SEC Chair Paul Atkins saying crypto is his #1 priority right now. Guys, this is extremely bullish. Like, the SEC Chair going all in on crypto tells you all that you need to know with this space and where it's going. Is if the SEC is fully focused on crypto, the Trump family's making billions of dollars from crypto. You have Eric Trump saying it's going to reach, going to reach $1 million. You have Pavel Durov saying it's going to reach $1 million for Bitcoin. I mean, guys, all the signs are there. The ETFs are going to get passed. You have gold rising, S&P rising. Now crypto is starting to rise because it's a risk on assets, and people are, not confident in the U.S. dollar. It's continuing to destabilize. I mean, all of the signs are there for just a blow off top and continuing much higher. So we'll just have to wait and see how much higher we do go. I'm going to tell you guys what I think in a minute of where I think the top's going to be, when it's going to be, but we are going much higher. Also, you had Tether buying 8,888 Bitcoin worth $1 billion in Q3 of 2025. Could anyone in the chat tell me what the number 8 signifies? For anyone who is big into numerology, can you tell me what the number 8 signifies? Because I don't think it's by happenstance that Tether bought 8,888 Bitcoin. I think it's foreshadowing. But let me know, guys, what does the number 8 mean? Also, you have SEC considering allowing stocks to trade on chain with plans to launch quickly. Guys, imagine stocks trade on chain and they trade 24/7. Imagine how crazy that would be. It's not so far-fetched anymore. Maybe 5 years ago, people look at you like you're crazy. Now, it's a very real likelihood, and I think it's going to happen in the near future. And so if stocks trade 24/7, that's going to create a whole nother dynamic. I don't know if I like that per se, because the stock market's been pretty good so far. I don't know if I want to change that. But nonetheless, if stocks do trade 24/7, Tesla is the one to buy, and maybe Nvidia and a few others. So very cool to see that. Speaking of Nvidia, just reached all-time highs. Pavel Durov, like I said, he predicts Bitcoin will reach $1 million. And then we already talked about the government shutdown. As long as the government doesn't prolong their shutdown, like as long as it only lasts a few days to a week, it's fine. But if the government prolongs the shutdown and there's more FUD that comes out, maybe it's going to cause a little more uncertainty. But here's the thing, guys. Anytime there's uncertainty, you have Bitcoin being a hedge against inflation, gold being a hedge against inflation. And so that would technically just be good for Bitcoin and crypto. But yeah, if it's prolonged for a period of time, we may end up getting more FUD than we want. Metaplanet is buying another $600 million worth of Bitcoin. Now they hold over $3.5 billion. And then Donald Trump Jr. says crypto will preserve the U.S. dollar dominance. So let me know if you guys think this, but in my opinion, Bitcoin is actually taking away from the strength of the dollar because people are getting out of fiat and investing into crypto. Do you guys see that as well, or do you guys see that crypto is preserving U.S. dollar dominance? Because I see dollar dominance declining, and it's destabilizing right now because people are getting into crypto. But nonetheless, if they have a positive view that crypto is preserving U.S. dollar dominance, then more power to them and continue higher, right? So that's my thought process on it. Then you also have 9.3 trillion asset manager Vanguard considering offering crypto products to its clients. Guys, more adoption. Also, you have Michael Saylor saying happy Uptober. So also you had CZ having a post where he talked about this quarter being similar to 2017. If you didn't see that post, I'll go ahead and show you guys real quick here. CZ says, not predicting the future and don't get too excited. A September in my past, my first crypto cycle, just data. And look what happened after that, right? Crypto absolutely sent. So guys, I mean, you have a lot of people saying Q4 is going to be bullish. Michael Saylor saying Uptober. It's only a matter of time now before everything just continues higher. And so also Elon Musk became the first person in history to officially surpass 500 billion net worth. Congrats to him. his net worth is going to get over $1 trillion. He's going to be the first official trillionaire, guys. Tesla's amazing. The full self-driving is amazing. Like, Elon has just been doing amazing with all of Tesla, Neuralink, SpaceX, everything. So kudos to him. He deserves it. Also, you have Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev saying tokenization is going to eat the entire financial system. Just like with BlackRock saying they're tokenizing assets on the blockchain and they're very bullish on RWA. A lot of these Web 2 companies are echoing that same sentiment. So let's go ahead and look at some of the comments, seeing what you guys are saying. Everyone said 8 equals wealth. 8 is infinite. Yes, 8 equals new beginnings. Exactly. That's what it means, guys. So 8 is all about abundance. It's all about wealth. It's all about new beginnings. And so Bitcoin is just going much higher, guys. Also, we only have 16 likes, 96 viewers. If you guys could like the stream, that would be awesome, guys. Always, always much appreciated. Let's see what some of the comments are. All right. A lot of good people in here. And yeah, I'll analyze Solana afterwards. Ashish, yes, I do expect rate cuts this time, October 29th. Absolutely. Robin says, can we see Astra hit $3 this month? I do believe so. Super Luke says, how do you do your research for new promising tokens? It's a lot, honestly. I look at CT. I look at my various alpha groups. I look at, any upcoming catalysts they have, if they're doing any buybacks, anything that can signify that the token's going much higher. Is the narrative big at the time? So a lot of different things there. Joao, no, I don't have any position on Brett. Let's see. Robin says, any plan to visit the UAE for any crypto events? Yeah, so I'll probably go to the Dubai Token 2049 event. I may go to the Dubai one, may not. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'll definitely go to UAE when there are some crypto events. Amazonia says, I'm still long on ETH with 5x leverage, 10% win. Should I stay or leave? If you want to take some profits, feel free. I do think that ETH will still reach our target, but there's probably going to be a little chop between it. Yes, everyone's saying wealth, abundance, unlimited. Absolutely. New beginnings. Absolutely. Brian says power, success, material, abundance. Yes, the 8 is the way to go, guys. Number 8 is very bullish for abundance. Solid says Gemini Exchange's customer service took over 1 month to respond to an inquiry. Short them. Unfortunate to hear. Brian says stepping into leadership and influence. Absolutely. Crypto is replacing the dollar. Yes, agreed. Solid says thoughts on $4 on BNB. Cool lore. Yeah, 4 is pretty cool. For those who don't know, I think there was a hacker that hacked the token 4. And they only made $13,000 from it, and now people are sending it a lot higher in spite. And CZ even tweeted about it in the BNB Eco or Twitter account actually tweeted about it as well. Let's see. Musfikis says, man, I'm new in crypto. How does the take profit 1, 2, and 3 work? You basically take 50% profit at take profit 1, and then 25% at take profit 2 and 3 to maximize your take profit. Viraj says, what about Trump's World Liberty token? That one, I'm still iffy about it, but it does look good for a move up to 22 cents at the very least. Ayesha says, I'm just starting out. How do I use BloFin if I live in the U.S.? First, Ayesha, welcome to crypto. You're going to like it as long as you follow the right people. As far as using BloFin in the U.S., so you can use a VPN. So something like NordVPN, if it is restricted in your state, you can just use that. But yeah, BloFin is a non-KYC exchange, so you shouldn't have to verify your identity. Just use a VPN if you need to, and then you can just deposit USDT onto the platform and start trading. So transfer your funds to your futures account or keep it in spot and then just trade on there. But yeah, let me know, Ayesha, if you have any questions. You can DM me on X at the CryptoData, and I'll be more than happy to answer any other questions that you have. Dilip says altcoin season starts. Yes, I believe altcoin season will start this October, this month. What's up, Doug says, will ETH hit a new all-time high? It's very likely, and I'll talk about some criteria that I'm looking for before ETH looks like it's going to hit the all-time high. And then Kioma says, I think USDT dominance is coming mainly from also the trade position that the U.S. holds now with being the largest consumer. Naturally, that could tip as BTC comes to become a trade currency. Yeah, absolutely. As Bitcoin becomes a more global financial currency, we definitely could continue higher. Solid says Sol looks ready for an all-time high. Solana looks very good, actually. Solana looks very good. If you can get Solana at 215, great entry. Uncle Mick says, would you come to New Zealand? I would love to come to New Zealand. That's on my bucket list of places to go. Ozza says, did you bump into people from Gem Hunters and Token event in Singapore? I'm trying to think. I bumped into a couple people from my other crypto groups. I don't think I've bumped into anyone from Gem Hunters yet. So Luke isn't here, unfortunately. So I haven't seen him or any of the other people. Actually, I did see Maritz. So Maritz actually had a fight that was yesterday. I actually went to it, and he won. Maritz won his fight, so congrats to him. He was facing Brian Rose, the guy from the London Reel, if any of you guys know who that is. And he actually did pretty good, so congrats to Maritz on that. Tam Talk says, what's happening with Aster? Really, it's rejecting off of its 170 resistance. And so we have to wait till buybacks happen, until a Binance listing happens. So it's just a matter of time. Sal, I'll go over Radium in a minute for its price prediction. Mika says England. Awesome. Do you think we should keep holding AV&T? No, I'm not holding AV&T anymore because it's lack of strength. It's just, I don't like the drama going on with the team selling. Karthik, you should long Sol around 215. Daniel, can we take partial profits on future? Is it possible? Yeah, you can take partial profits, absolutely. Cyrus says, bro, can you go through how to differ if the coin is topping again, ready to dip? Yeah, if it's at resistance and the RSI or stock RSI is showing overbought, or it's at trendline resistance. Viraj, any good coins which we can hold this alt season? Hyperliquid is a good one. Probably Ethereum. Aster should be a good one. What should someone with capital do now? I think wait for a retracement, Jow, and then buy on that. Dillip says, will challenge trade happen in Jim Hunter's free group? I don't know if a challenge trade will happen, but we'll continue to call leverage plays for you guys, or meme coin plays. All right, guys, let's go over some more news. Also, real quick, if you guys aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, follow me on there. If you guys have any questions, you can also DM me on there as well. Or if you guys have any questions in the comments, obviously DM there. But yeah, always much appreciated, guys. Now, let's go over some macro news. So the S&P continuing to make all-time highs. This is amazing to see. 67.11, guys. It's continuing higher. And something else I wanted to point out, and I'll actually circle this. I mean, it's red, but I'll circle it in green, is because the RSI is oversold or overbought on the weekly. But look at this. It's making a higher high. So when you see the S&P price making a higher high and RSI making a higher high, that shows you that price is actually validated. There is price strength that is supporting this move higher. Usually what you see is the RSI making a high and then actually making a lower high. And there's actually a bearish divergence that happens, right? A lower high on the RSI, a higher high on price, and then price actually folds over. But this time you're actually seeing the RSI's higher high coincide with the price, which means that S&P could still see a lot higher. Surprisingly, like looking at this chart, it is hard to believe that the S&P is going to go even higher. But I mean, RSI price strength is supporting it, so I can't argue with it. And then gold, if the RSI continues higher on gold, then guys, gold could reach even higher highs, right? Like still RSI is making a lower high, so gold could still buckle to the downside. But I'm watching this RSI to see if it continues even higher. And then big support for gold would be around 3450 to 3400. Oil futures, nothing crazy, between 62 and 70. And then US dollar index, the DXY, like I mentioned earlier, it's continuing to decline, guys. People are getting out of fiat and they're getting into, gold, the S&P, crypto. The dollar is destabilizing. It's been continuing lower since the beginning of this year, I think over 10%. And you can see the RSI was nearly making a double top here, going lower. So if the RSI crosses below a signal line, very bearish for the dollar, very bullish for Bitcoin and other risk-on assets. And so, guys, I mean, really the writing's on the wall at this point. The dollar is continuing to decline. So great to see on there if you are in crypto or any risk on asset. If it breaks below 97.50, the dollar's going a lot lower. And then I would look at 95 after that. Now, looking at the market overview. So right now, Bitcoin is at 118.5K. Ethereum's at 43.76. XRP is at 296. Solana is at 224. Solana is just continuing higher, guys. Very bullish on Solana. Zcash up 78%. Holy, Zcash is just exploding, guys. For those who are wondering why Zcash has been exploding, so some of the main reasons is, one, there's a lot of people promoting it, and the company, I think, is injecting some liquidity, but it's a dyno token that eventually when you have these other tokens pump, Zcash ends up catching up, and so it's really just a rotation of capital at this point. MYX up 18%, more crime going on. Pudgy Pangu is up 14%. Great to see that price continuing to appreciate. Pump is doing great. Pump is a very strong token on Solana, guys. A good beta play, a good risk on asset to get into. Litecoin is doing good. Aster is at 166, rejecting from that 170 level. I'll go over the chart in a minute on Aster, but at least it is good to see some more capital flowing into altcoins. Now, looking at the TVL, TVL is continuing higher. Total value locked 164 billion, almost reaching its all-time highs of 170 billion. Last time we broke all-time highs, you can see what happened in May of 2021. Then when we broke those all-time highs in September, October, what happened with the TVL? It skyrocketed, and we had a huge alt season afterwards. Now, looking at right now, you can see if it breaks its all-time highs from November 2021, I mean, it's going to go much, much higher at that point. So just keeping an eye on that. But there is still a lot of promise with TVL. And looking at the Fear and Greed Index, it's only at 51 right now, which means there's a lot more room to the upside. We're not in extreme greed or even greed yet. So still not as many people are in yet. People are probably hesitant for this run. I imagine this is going to be closer to 60. by this time tomorrow, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. I will keep you guys updated on that. Now, looking at the ETF flows. So ETF flows so far were looking good. They were positive for the past few days, which is what you want to see. We're still waiting for BlackRock's numbers to come out, but you can see yesterday for Bitcoin, 429 million. The day prior, 518 million. And then you have Ethereum for its ETF flows, 54 million. And still waiting for BlackRock's numbers, but then yesterday 127 and 546 respectively. I'm still waiting for Ethereum to have higher inflows. Again, once those inflows return for Ethereum, that's when you're really going to see it ramp up to 45, 46, 4,700 near all-time highs. So it's just a matter of time. Keep an eye on that. Also, Solana is continuing to have positive inflows from the Rex Osprey ETF. So like I said, just a matter of time before more ETFs get approved for Solana and it continues much higher. Now, let's go ahead and look at the questions real quick, and then I'll go over some of the charts. Let's see. All right. Robin says, can you do the Astra chart over? Yeah, I'll go over Astra in a minute. Do you expect Q4 to pump start of October 6th? And do you think the whole October will be bullish? Yeah, so I think that because of the full moon, October 6th, we're going to see probably a lead-up pump to that within the next few days. And then probably a pump until, I would say, mid-October, like October 12th or 13th. And we'll probably see a drop after that. See, Cheap says, thoughts on Hype and AVAX? Very bullish on Hype, very bullish on AVAX. Charles says, hi there, CD. How much do you think Solana will top at the end of the year? I'm looking at potentially around 350. Mr. says, gee, what are your thoughts on Hype? Very bullish on Hype. And I'll go over that chart as well. Very bullish on it, though. I think probably $80, $90 within the next few, probably 3 to 4 months. Klipka says, what do you think of AV&T USDC spot? I don't like it. It's just been a bearish chart. Mr. says, I got a feeling it's going to pump. It's the strongest major asset these past few days. Yeah, Hype is doing very, very well. Jaron says, will we have a dump before a pump? We may consolidate a little bit. It's very possible Bitcoin still drops to 116 to 117K considering where liquidity is at. But it's just we're going to have to see what happens with the government shutdown as well. If they, if they basically start to resolve that and open back up, or if it prolongs, that could create some more FUD. Cyrus says, any platform that allows you to trade commodities or a trustworthy platform that tokenizes them? I do know that, I think Avantis, funny enough, they had the RWA platform. They did introduce some type of commodity trading, but I would just be careful on that. Demerkin says, I'm just starting up. What should I study from Bitcoin to altcoins? Honestly, just look at a lot of the Gem Hunters videos, learn technical analysis, and then follow people on X, like myself, at the CryptoData. I post a lot of good content. Also follow people like Benjamin Cohen into Cryptoverse. Very, very popular guy. And I'll actually here, let me just link these X accounts in the chat so make it easier for you guys. So follow myself, follow Benjamin Cohen. Let's go ahead. This guy is very good macro-wise, one of the smartest macro guys I know. Also follow Virtual Bacon. Very smart guy as well. And then obviously follow the Gem Hunters YouTube account. So first and foremost, because guys, we're giving you guys the best free content around. So highly recommended. But yeah, follow all those guys. These guys are going to get you started in the right spots. And so post a lot of good content for you guys. But yeah, that would be my biggest thing is following them. And then also learning the technical analysis basics video in the Gem Hunters YouTube channel in the live tab. Also subscribe to Gem Hunters if you guys haven't. Always much appreciated. And let's see. Peter says, up on Sol, 260%. Does it make sense to take partial profit since we passed 220 major support, or just hold till 250 since conviction is pretty high on Sol at the moment? Peter, I'd probably hold at the very least. I mean, if you want to take some profits near 230, that's the next resistance point, and then 250. But you're never wrong taking profits along the way. But it's Solana's doing great right now. It's looking very strong. So holding it, would make sense. Daniel, my previous question, how to take partial profit in the future. Is it total position we need to sell, right? Yeah, so 50% of your total position, then 25% at TP2, and then 25% at TP3. You could keep a little moon bag at the end just in case it goes much higher. That's what I always recommend. Aisha says, do you think I can still enter a trade for ETH at 4,300? That's the big question because initially we were playing the catch-up trade, right? Bitcoin had its huge pump, and then Ethereum was catching up. And so I don't know if the chance or the opportunity is as good if Ethereum retraces back to 4,300 now. That would just depend on where the indicators are at. So if the RSI is near oversold when Ethereum's are tracing, no, not that good. The indicators were still somewhat reset in the middle. That's the only reason I said to buy Ethereum. If it goes back to 4,300 within the next few days, it's probably still a good long. But other than that, I'd probably stay out of it and just let it play out. Tam Talk says hype or Aster. Ooh, good question. Probably hype at this point because they have their ETFs and they also have the integration with MetaMask. Dillip says price prediction of Chainlink by 2025 December. Ooh, probably $40, $50. Botified, what data are you looking at to more or less predict the times when something will pump or drop? I'm looking at various things like astrology, looking at what other alpha groups are saying, what other top traders are saying, what the ETF flows are saying, what the liquidation levels are saying. I'm just charting it, looking at Fibonacci levels as well. So yeah, I'm just looking at all that data. They were positive. All right. Can you link that Market Guru guy? Oh yeah, the Watcher Guru. Yeah, I'll go ahead and link him real quick. Watcher Guru is another one. He provides a lot of good news. Yeah, I'll link him for you. There you go. Let's see. Kioma says, good time to join the premium group right now. Yeah, if you guys want to join the Gem Hunters premium group, the link is in the description. It's 1 Ethereum for a yearly subscription. You're going to get more leverage calls, meme coin calls, altcoin calls, Gem Alpha, live streams from the different Gem Hunters, etc. So yeah, if you guys want to join that, definitely a good time to do so. Azza says, USDT dominance is making bearish consolidation pattern. RSI was overbought and it dropped hard. That's why Bitcoin went up, in my opinion. Now it's making a bearish consolidation patterns. Bitcoin can all-time high. Azza, great point. And I'll actually look at USDT dominance this time around. Remind me if I don't look at that when I'm looking at charts. But yeah, I'll make sure to look at USDT dominance. And I'll look at the Aster chart. And then I'll look at XLP as well. Or XPL. I'll look at that. Cool, guys. Let's go over the charting now. Again, if you guys could like the video, that'd be awesome. 44 likes, but 104 viewers. If we can get those likes up, that'd be amazing, guys. Always much appreciated. But looking at the charts. So I guess I'll go over XRP because I already had the chart open. XRP had a close above 294, so I'm expecting the next target for XRP to be 313. So far the RSI and stock RSI look good, so XRP could still have a run here. Now looking at Bitcoin. So guys, Bitcoin, very bullish here on the daily. You can see what happened whenever it broke the trend line and broke above this major horizontal resistance, now turns support. These are two scenarios I'm waiting for right now. Potentially consolidation and a pullback into this 116 to 117K level. Now, these levels here that I have, these vertical lines, so October 2nd is the end of the Yom Kippur Jewish holiday, which is historically bullish when combined with the full moon, which is October 6th. And so that's why I have these two dates basically pinned. And then the Rosh Hashanah Jewish holiday, which also coincided with the new moon, it was bearish. So you can see historically when that holiday started, we've had a downturn. And then when the Yom Kippur holiday starts, we have an upturn. And so very good to see that, and very good to see that price prediction playing out. But like I said, a lot of support near 116 to 117. Resistance is going to be near 120K. And then after that, 123K is next. And so looking at the RSI right now, you can see it's still around 63, so not quite overbought yet. But the stock RSI is starting to become overbought. So just keep that in mind, guys. Maybe a little pump over the next few days, then a little pullback after that before pumping into mid-October. Now, also looking at Ethereum. So Ethereum 43.89, still looking strong. Let me know if you guys see this as well, but I'm seeing a bull flag here. Do you guys see a bull flag on the daily? The flagpole, and then basically declining before breaking to the upside. Do you guys see this as well, or is it just me that sees this bull flag? Because I just noticed this yesterday when I was charting Ethereum before I made the long call. But what you want to see for Ethereum here, there's going to be a little resistance near 4,500. But guys, once it can break above, let's just say 4,600 to 47, guys, Ethereum's making all-time highs. There's no question about it at that point. Then you're going to see it really start to take off. But are you guys seeing this bull flag here? This looks very bullish. Also looking at the RSI, it crossed above its signal line here. So very bullish. Now, Ayesha, I know you were asking about if Ethereum's a good to long when it gets to 4,300. The RSI still looks good, but the stock RSI, looks a little iffy right now, to be honest with you, because it's getting closer to that overbought level. So if Ethereum reaches near 4,400, but then the stock RSI ends up getting overbought within the next few days, and Ethereum pulls back to 43, maybe it's going a lot lower, you know? So right now I'm still in the Ethereum long. Hopefully you guys are profiting from that. Still expecting 4,490, 4,500 resistance to get hit before pulling back, but Ethereum does look good here. Now looking at Solana, like I was saying, it's very, very bullish. So it's at 224 right now. You can see the RSI looks great. The stock RSI looks great. Still going a lot higher. It passed above its 215 resistance. Guys, Solana's going to 230. Solana's going to 230 here. First big resistance. After that, 248. The indicators look extremely bullish. So Solana, I believe, is a good bet here. If you can get it near 215, that'd be the level to buy. Then below that, around 201. But yeah, Solana's looking very, very bullish here. I know you guys were asking about Aster as well. Here's the thing here, guys, is Aster was in a descending wedge, which is a bullish pattern, but then it broke to the downside, which is extremely bearish. So now what you're seeing is this trendline support turn to trendline resistance. And so what we need to see is we need to see Aster break above 170. If Aster can break above 170, then we'll have this resistance around 175. If Aster breaks above 175, say 180, 185, very bullish. And then at that point, much, much higher. Okay, that's what I would expect for here. But guys, we need to break above 170. Like, this trendline resistance is just horrible right now. I know a lot of people are shorting at 170. So really, at the very least, Aster needs to break above 170. The RSI looks like it's curving to the downside on the 4-hour, not looking the best. If we go to the daily chart, still haven't had an RSI on the daily yet. But like I said, Aster is just frustrating right now, to be honest with you guys. So hopefully they announce some buybacks and just start blowing up to the upside. But it's just a matter of time. We got to break above this trend line resistance as well. So a couple levels to break, 170 to 175. But once we get above that, it should be clear skies to all-time highs. Now, let's go ahead and look at USDT dominance as well. As I said, I would look at that. And then I'll also give a target for Radium. Someone was asking for that as well earlier. But looking at the weekly chart here, so yeah, RSI is curving to the downside, somewhat near resistance here. I mean, somewhat, but the stock RSI is still curving to the upside. So very interesting to say the least for USDT dominance. But yeah, I mean, it's not really bullish or bearish, honestly. Like, if we break and close below, let's just say I would say 4.3%. If we can break and close below 4.3%, probably good. Now, something as well to watch out for, because I do see a trend line support being formed right here. So if we can break below this trend line support on USDT dominance at 4.3%, then yeah, we could see a further move down to 4%. But like I said, the RSI, stock RSI, still really not bullish or bearish. Okay, I'm back, guys. Disconnected for a sec. So, okay. So now I'm back. So yeah, looking at USDT dominance, like I said, not really bullish or bearish right now. We'll have to see what happens, but below 4.3% should be pretty good for us. And then looking at Radium for a price target for that by the end of the year. Radium looks like it wants to catch up to Solana. May not be a bad long, honestly. I mean, the next major resistance is going to be at 311, followed by 382. So yeah, Radium's not looking too bad. Stock RSI and RSI are looking good. So yeah, I think Radium's a good long here, up to, I should say, 310, if Solana can keep performing here. So by the end of the year, I would say probably 420 by the end of the year for Radium. I think that'd be at least a good target to aim for. Let's look at the comments here. Can you make analysis on Apex? Yeah, I'll look at Apex real quick. So Apex 161, this token needs to do better. It got down to 124. So hopefully none of you guys got liquidated on Apex. I know that a lot of people were betting on that, but it just tanked. So let's see. Let's actually move this up a little bit. So yeah, there's resistance at 175 on Apex. It needs to continue higher from here. It needs to close above 175 at least on the 4-hour before getting to 195 and 240 as far as 260 from there. So that's the biggest thing I would say is, yeah, Apex needs to close above 175. If you're going long Apex, then 138 wouldn't be a bad level. RSI right now is hovering around 50, so very reset. But yeah, guys, I'll wait till at very least at 138 to long Apex, or at least just spot buy. I wouldn't long it. I would just spot buy. And then depending on what Bybit is going to do, if they're going to continue to buy back tokens, or if they're going to start buying back tokens, or what their plan is for Apex. Awesome. Glad you guys are following. Appreciate it. XPL real quick. So Plasma. Nope. Wrong one. Let's see. Let me actually just go on TradingView. So it's 93 cents right now. Guys, I would not touch XPL until at least 88 cents, between 85 to 88 cents. I'll say 85. 85 cents will be the minimum level. Stock RSI is almost oversold, which is good. RSI looks like it's curving to the upside, so potentially we could see Plasma start to curve back to the upside here. Potentially some good relief on Plasma. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. After 85 cents, the next major level would be $1 for taking profit. But yeah, as far as buying Plasma, I mean, I would just do spot at the very least, but I'm not in it right now currently. Let's see. And also people are asking me about Hype. Hype is very bullish, guys. Like, Hype is extremely bullish right now. I saw the chart, and it's just, I mean, look at that. 49.12, looking like it wants to break above 49. The RSI is crossing to the upside. Stock RSI is bouncing off a signal line. Like, Hype looks like it wants to do this. Like, go up to 51 resistance, maybe 53, pull back to 51, and then higher to make all-time highs. Like, Hype looks great, guys. If you're holding Hype, congratulations. I would keep holding it. A break and close above 49 on the daily, and it's sending much higher. Thom says, is crypto more of a research on the projects and macro factors than pure analytics? I think it's 50-50. It's fundamentals and technicals. So technicals matter a lot, but then obviously if you're going to have some big government bill or something in astrology that's happening, a full moon, etc., that's going to affect the price, then you got to take that into account as well. I think being able to look at all variables is the trait of a successful trader and someone who can be non-biased as well. Being able to look at the short side and the long side, not just being an up-only bull. You got to be able to use your knowledge and your analytical skills to determine, okay, statistically, are we more apt to go up or down from here? And based off of seasonality and all other factors, then you bring that into play, as well as sentiment and other factors as well. So I bring a lot of that into play. So Make Your Own Luck was asking, is it possible to have everything automated like in Forex for bot trading? Yes. So you can have bot trading in crypto as well. Like sniper bots, they're more or less searching for new tokens and hyped launches. But as far as like trading bots that just look for long and shorts, you could absolutely do that. I mean, I would code it the same way. Like, so you're saying MT4. So MT4, a lot of people just use PineScript on TradingView. But for MT4, you can actually go much more in depth with indicators. And I think that's where the alpha is at. If you can code some good indicators on MT4 and you compare them and backtest them like they work in Forex and they work the same in crypto, 100% I would incorporate that. Anthony says, we have a CME gap at 110.5K. What do you think about that? I don't think it's going to get hit. I think that it may be another couple months before we actually do hit that. Maybe have a pullback into December, January, and then continue higher from there. I think that's still a very real possibility. Cheap says, I'm holding Hype and AVAX. To what extent can I hold? I mean, heck, I think you can hold those for a while. I think for another month or two, you can probably hold them. Hype probably going to reach $70. AVAX probably going to reach 50. Sala, close my Aster long at 229. Happier and happier with that exit, knowing it'll eventually go higher. Sala, that's so awesome. Congrats on that. Kudos to you on that. Curious if you're in Aster right now. If you bought more or what your plans are for it. Barry, what's your take on AVAX? Bullish. Peter, please look at Hype. Yep, bullish on Hype. Are you in any long positions right now? Let's see. Are you in any long positions for Solana or Hype? I am not, but they do look fairly good. If you can get Solana near 215 or Hype near around 43, 42, 43, I'd be very bullish. Or even wait for a close above 49. Robin says, what's the sniper Aster entry we can get? I have 18K to put in up heavily right now. I want to buy more at 132 or 150. Exactly. You called the levels right there, Robin. 132 or 150, good levels for Aster. Jim says, a moment of gratitude to you for this, brother. Hey, appreciate you, Jim. Love you guys. Always love the support. Diamond Hand says, what's your take on Doge? Let's go ahead and check out Doge real quick. Ooh, Doge looks interesting here. Okay. So, Doge looks interesting here, actually. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. So I think Doge, looking at the RSI, crossed above its signal line, looking at the stock RSI, oversold, crossing above. And, look at this. It's basically crossing above a major resistance here. So for Doge, I think it's looking fairly good up until 26.5 cents. And then after that, 28.2, and then 29.1, followed by major resistance at 31. But let's see if I see any patterns real quick on Doge. Seeing if I see any descending wedges or head and shoulders patterns or double tops or double bottoms or any of that. I think on the daily, not really. Let me look at the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, see this little curve up pattern here? Like this little, right? Almost like rising up to make another run. So, yeah, I think Doge is pretty good here. And even on the 4 hour, if you draw this trend line resistance. Here we go. Okay, here's one of the patterns. So look at this. So right now, looking at Doge, if it can break above this trend line resistance, I think Doge is sending up to 26.5 cents. So yeah, this is the level I would watch, guys. This little trend line resistance here on the 4 hour. If it can break above that, I mean, the 4 hour, the only thing I don't like is the 4 hour is overbought right now. So maybe a little pullback. Maybe a little pullback on the stock RSI as well. So I would not enter Doge right now necessarily. But, I mean, it's right near support, honestly. So, I mean, I guess it's not the best. But if you want to be on the safe side, maybe wait for a break above on the 4 hour. Or you could say a DCA at 25.2. I mean, it's basically there right now. Or even better at 24.5 if you can get it. But yeah, that'd be my take on Doge. X says, how often do you call leverage trades in your premium group? I'm thinking about joining, not the Gym Hunters premium, but yours. Oh, mine, I would say at least a couple times a week. At least a couple times a week, and there's various other calls as well. So, yeah, feel free. I mean, like I said, links are on my X account as well. If you want to DM me on X to hear more about it, you could do that as well. But yeah, I would say pretty often, at least a couple times a week. Adam says, what do you think about doing perps on altcoins right now? So perps on altcoins, I mean, really I just focus on the top, like the blue chip ones, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana for perps or even hype. But as far as the lower altcoins, like Apex, Aster, AVNT, Stable, all of those, I'm a little more cautious for doing perps, especially for you guys. I would just do spot trading for those altcoins. Jim says, can you look up Jim? Hidden Jim. All right, let's look at Jim. Hidden Jim, okay. 59K market cap. Yes, I would not be trading this, but just from a TA perspective, maybe near here isn't bad. But then resistance near 86K market cap and then 111K market cap. So, yeah, that would be my analysis on that. But this is a very low cap coin. I would not be getting in this. But these are the levels if you're trading it. Adam says, like scalping with high leverage. Yeah, I would be cautious, guys. I would not use high leverage when just in general. 5, 10x max. Uncle Mix says, when you talk about breaking certain levels, what candle do you look for confirmation 1 hour daily? I look at the daily candle, Uncle Mix, just because has the most significance. Chudjack says, why is it on black screen? I think it was because the stream was lagging. Because I'm on my laptop on hotel Wi-Fi. Can you take a look at MYX, please? Yeah, I'll go ahead and check that out real quick. MYX was actually doing pretty good. So, okay. So yeah, MYX, if it can hold $15, it's bullish. If the daily closes below, I would say 1480. That's fairly bearish, and it's probably going a lot lower. So yeah, the next target for MYX, 1780. And then after that, I mean, it's off to the races from there, right? So that's what I would be looking at. Is the daily close below 1480? Very bearish for MYX. If it maintains above, still good. Charles says, can you kindly tell me where you can buy commodities like silver and uranium, and also some of the stocks you think I would buy right now? I heard Benjamin Cohen talks about diversifying money on assets. Yeah, so for the buying commodities like silver and uranium, I don't have as much experience on those as far as buying those and the best exchange to use. Now, as far as stocks, Tesla is probably my #1 stock pick. And then Nvidia probably should still do well, but I'll say Tesla is one of the best ones to invest in. Daniel says, also for beginners, is it good to go with isolated margin of cross margin? Can you explain in brief? If we say, let's say 2K in loss and cross and margin is 1K, we need to pay 2K in loss. Okay, Daniel, so isolated all the way. For everyone in this chat, isolated margin. Because what isolated is you can only lose the amount that you put in the trade. Meaning, if you put in $1,000, you can only lose $1,000. But if you're in cross margin, then it's actually going to dip into your wallet balance. And so instead of just losing $1,000, say you have $2,000 in your wallet balance, you can lose all that $2,000 because if it gets closer to your liquidation level, then what's going to happen is it's going to use your wallet balance if you're in cross margin and add that to your position so you don't get liquidated. But at the same time, if the price keeps going down, then it's going to go a lot lower. So that'd be my biggest thing with that. Let's see. Ozza says, ACD, how do you find this crazy projects like Apex, Plasma, etc.? I'm seeing everything after it happened. Honestly, I'm just in alpha groups because people are always trenching, so I just find them from there. Let's see. Milan says, is Dolan Duck still a thing? I don't believe so. No. Mo says, any TA on World Liberty? Yeah, so I was looking at that earlier. Whoops. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at World Liberty. Now, let me know if anyone knows when they're starting buybacks on this. Because honestly, I mean, it doesn't look too bad right now. It could be forming a double bottom as well. So I think World Liberty actually could break to the upside here. I think there's a good possibility that World Liberty could continue higher, especially if it can close above 21 cents. I think that, yeah, we're very close to a breakout on World Liberty. So 22 cents is the next major resistance, and then after that, 22.5, and then 24.5 afterwards. So, yeah, I think World Liberty could be ready for another run soon. 100%. Ozza says, let's see. Yeah, there you go, Ozza. Said always isolated margin. Yep. Peter says, what kind of MACD do you have on your chart? Mine is 1226 and has red and green bars. So I don't use MACD as much, but yeah, default levels are good. Uncle Mick says, what do you think about TXC? TXC is an interesting one if this is the right token. Whoops. I would say supports near 457, 450, and then 650 is resistance, and then also 560 is resistance. Stock RSI is oversold, maybe a good buy area right now, or near it, and then the RSI is curving to the downside, so I'd wait until 450 at the very least for TXC. Let's see, I already went over the AVAX chart, Bromes, but if you're just now starting and you missed it, I'll really quick go over that. AVAX, like I said, very bullish here. It's very close to breaking to the upside. Stock RSI is still very close to breaking above a signal line. Stock RSI is oversold, crossing up, and then RSI is close to breaking above its signal line. So if AVAX can close above 31, very, very bullish, guys. If you're looking to buy AVAX, at the very least, I would say 29.80 and then 28.50. Leon says, I'm looking for a high-risk bet on Aster with a 10x long on Aster. Do you think Aster can retest 150 one more time? It's possible, Leon. Yeah, I would have a 10x. I would DCA on your 10x, like 145 to 150 to be on the safe side. But just be careful. Just be very, very careful. Karthik says, Tau, please. Sui, even Ondo. Karthik has got the request today. Tam says, how do you know where major resistance levels are? Just based off of TA. You just look at the daily where it's rejected from multiple times or bounced off multiple times. Can we go long on hype? I would say if it can cross above 45 on the daily, potentially yes. So a lot of token requests, guys. I won't be able to go over all of these. My apologies, but I'll go over what I can. What do you recommend entering at the moment? I mean, World Liberty actually looks pretty good. Or even Doge, if it can break above its resistance. Linya, I'm just holding that spot. Gem Hunter's Premium, it's just more leverage calls, meme coin calls, more Gem Hunter, Gem Alpha, more live streams, etc. Solid says, I haven't re-entered Aster, but it might if it shows some strength again. There you go. Jose says, Kincaid would tell you to get some sleep. Robin, how do you put horizontal lines for support and resistance? Any shortcut you do? Yeah, I do Alt-H. Press the Alt button and press the H key. And that's how you do a shortcut. All right, guys. I'm just going to look at a few more charts, and I got to do it because we have too many requests to get to everyone. But I'll look at, I already looked at gold. That was here. Basically, big supports coming here at 3,400. Now, I know a couple other people were asking about Pangu, so I'll look at Pangu, Ton, and then SPX. Karthik for Tau target, probably 500. Sui target, $5. Ondo target, probably $2 to $3. And then I'll go ahead and look at Pangu real quick, and then I'll look at Linya, and that will do it, guys. So let's go ahead, because I still got a lot of stuff to do in Singapore. But let's go ahead and, whoops. Let's go ahead and look at Pangu real quick. So Pangu, in a way, looks like almost a, funny enough, looks like a bull flag as well. So Pengu looks very good. It's actually playing out perfectly to how we had it. So yeah, Pengu, very, very bullish, guys. RSI is crossing above the signal line, and stock RSI is crossed to the upside. Very bullish on that. The next major resistance on Pengu would be around that 3.25 cents. Then after that, I would look at probably 3.8 cents, the next major resistance. So yeah, Pengu looks very, very good here. And then looking at Linea. So Linea, I'm just holding spot right now. It's at 2.7 cents. We can get rid of this. We have a lot of resistance here between 2.95 to 3 cents. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, right now, Linea doesn't look too bad. Again, 2.95 would be the next major resistance. RSI looks like it's bouncing off the signal line. Stock RSI may start curving to the upside. So yeah, Linea doesn't look too bad. If you can get it in your 2.5 cents, not a bad level, in my opinion. But yeah, the biggest thing with Linea is we do need to break above this major resistance area and then 3.3 cents after that. So with that said, guys, that is going to do it. So I went over XPL and Doge already, so watch the recording after it is posted here. If you guys aren't following me on X, definitely do so at the CryptoData. I post a lot of good content and try to keep you guys updated with everything as much as I can. So again, look at my pin message, check out my links and everything I have on my channel. Always appreciate it, guys. Much love to everyone. Hopefully you guys have a great day wherever you're at. Have a great week. Love you guys, and I'll talk soon. See ya.